Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Gray Matter. Well, we like to think that we know our audience pretty well. We know that you're interested in sports. We know that you're interested in health and wellness. And we also know that you're very much interested in the transformative power of the Holy Spirit. And today's program is going to combine all three of those into, we think, a really, really exciting program. So, our guest today, we have really health and wellness expert and trainer extraordinaire, Ron Oliver. Welcome to the show, Ron.
Thank you, sir. Pleasure to be
and
here.
and his client and athlete, Mr. Owen Beck. Welcome to the program, Mr. Beck.
Hey, pleasure to jump on today and join you guys.
Yeah,
Thanks for
so
having
we're
me.
excited to talk with both of you gentlemen and to hear this incredible story about how the two of you met and your collaboration and how it's really changed your life, Owen. So Ron, maybe we could turn to you first, and maybe you could talk about how you first met Owen and how this whole incredible story began to unfold.
Absolutely. So basically, I was introduced to him from a colleague in the industry who's actually a supplement rep. We were introduced, and then immediately I'm like, wow, I'm talking to Owen Beck, this world champion heavyweight boxer. He's ex military, he served our country, and he's also a second degree black belt in Ishiru karate, taekwondo black belt, So I'm talking to a true warrior, which is always exciting for me as an athlete. These are the most ultimate athletes on the world, stage. They're basically modern day gladiators, right? He ended up, walking away from his career after taking a massive loss. He lost millions of dollars, and that left him, a little bit depressed, obviously, because, and then he got a really severe head injury, so he couldn't fight anymore. So all of a sudden, his entire life's training is out the window, and he wasn't prepared for that. So we became friends because he's a lovable guy, and we started working together, just basically just life coaching for a year, just to help him get his head back in the game. And then we just made a plan, and he came up. He showed up at my door, and in fact, he was very sick when he showed up. He could barely, stand, walk around. He was just exhausted, coughing his brains out almost. It was bad. He's super sick. Probably it was COVID. We don't really know because the PCR tests aren't very accurate, as you know. But he had all the symptoms and just violent cough, right? So we went to work immediately at eliminating that after we did a live blood analysis to see the state of his blood. We did live blood morphology, looked at it under the microscope, and it was, let me just say, it was a bloody mess. Can I say that? It was a bloody mess. It was very bad. And I was just like, whoa, and he says, man, that looks alienistic. Like, he was freaked out when he saw his blood. The only way you can scare a warrior like him, an ex-Navy SEAL, is show them their blood when it looks like that. Then they're going to be like, oh my goodness, I'm nervous, He'd take on a gorilla, but you show him toxic blood, he gets a little squeamish.
So Ron, when was that exactly when he drove up? Now
That
you're in
was last
Canada,
December.
right? You're in Canada. He was living, I believe was he living in New Jersey? Where
No,
did he drive up
he's
from?
in Kentucky.
I'm in
Kentucky.
Kentucky.
Wow.
Yeah,
So that's quite a drive.
15-hour drive, right?
Wow.
And
Wow.
he had to do it in 2 shifts because he was just, it took everything he had in him as a warrior, a true world champion, to actually just drive this far. And it took him
Mhm.
2 days. He barely got here. Then he was just dog tired, just because he was so sick, not because he's not tough, right? He was
Mhm.
just so ill and just unwell, right? And, for a guy who's never smoked, never been a drinker of alcohol, never been a guy who uses drugs ever, and just eats pretty reasonably decent for an athlete, not nothing like me or anything, but his blood looked like he was 80, and
Wow.
he was only 47, and he's never smoked, never drank, never done drugs, right?
Mhm.
I've seen a lot of blood in 28 years from doing live blood morphology, looking at the blood, and it was frightening to look at his blood.
Mhm.
Okay, I was
Mhm.
concerned, but the most shocking thing for me was not watching his blood transform very fast from the detoxing. It's simply because you normally could not detox anyone like this fast. What we accomplished in 2 weeks would take a normal person like 90 days or 6 months. But he's tough. We're talking
Mhm.
Navy SEAL material here. This guy is one in a million. So I put him through a 12 hours a day radical detox for 2 weeks because that's the time we had together. And he's like, let's do this. He was all in. And so when you push that many toxins out that fast, it's going to be real hard on you. It's going to be tough. It won't hurt you, but you're going to feel rough the whole time. And he just went for
Mhm.
it because there's no stopping this guy.
Mhm.
I've actually
Incredible.
never had a client that was willing to do this radical of a detox.
Wow.
So I
So,
give hats off to him.
yeah. Owen, I wonder if we could turn to you for a second, and then I'm interested to know a little bit of your origin story. We know that you're originally from Jamaica.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about your background. How did you end up getting into professional boxing? How did that all come about?
Well, I started boxing age 10 and just fight my way through the ranks and, beat some of the top guys in the world. And boxing has been the grassroots. It's a dream, something I dreamed of doing. Uh, find my passion there. Over all the other sports that I did, because I run track and field, I played soccer, I played football, I played cricket, played tennis. So I tried pretty much everything, and boxing was just something that was gonna make that difference, make that change.
Hmm.
Just saying. A lot of people say, "Hey, I'm from the ghetto. I'm from the projects. I'm from the hood." Well, here it is. I am from all of those places. I am from the hood. I am from the streets. You know, just happen to just be somebody a little bit different. Um, been shot, been stabbed. You know, God was the main story of my life. Through all this, God presence was there every time I needed to get to the point where I need to get to in everything that I did. And God just showed me that, hey, there is a reason for you to be here, a reason for everything that you're doing, a reason for getting out of the street, a reason for not, to get out of the island and
Hmm.
do something positive, make a difference in people, make a difference in the world, make a difference in the youth. Show people that you are worthy just like everybody else is. And I was just so thankful that, you know, God could have put his trust and faith in me and gave me that chance, the opportunity to be here, even talking to you right now.
Wonderful. So let's bring you forward now. Your career professionally ended around 2006, and you find yourself living in Kentucky. And then something stirs inside you, and you decide you're going to drive all the way up to see see Ron, and you're very sick. Tell us about that moment. I mean, what was it about it that did you pray on this, or what made you decide to make this incredible transition and this big commitment to go see Ron to try and really restore your health? It sounds as though you were almost at a life or death moment at that point.
Something was wrong. Something was wrong somewhere psychologically up here. Something was wrong. But I kept going. The toughness from my youth, the background that I have, you know, I wouldn't to be stopped. I wouldn't, I'm not easily stopped. But when I met Ron, we met on the phone and over the phone, we met on Zoom and all that stuff. And everything that he kept saying on the meetings and to people and to myself, I'm like, man, all of these things just sound so familiar, you
Hmm.
know. Ron made me the offer. I said, hey, I'm in,
Hmm.
man.
Awesome.
So I take Ron up on the offer, and I just say, you know what, it's gonna be a long drive, but I'm ready for this road trip. Something. my head, something to fix my brain. I'm ready for it.
He's a
I,
salt and light guy, isn't he?
oh yeah,
Yeah, very persuasive. So Ron, back to you. So you get Owen up there to your home, your clinic where you and your son operate, and your process now. I want to talk about this a little bit because obviously you're dealing with Owen. We're talking particularly about Owen, but this is something you've been doing for a long time, helping people
Yes.
restore their health and wellness. So you talked about this live blood analysis, but as you were taking stock of Owen's situation, describe for us sort of this whole comprehensive process that you go through in taking stock of his health and then building a plan to restore him to elite level health, and actually to take him to heights he's never been to before. Talk to us about that.
Yeah. So basically, we all are, we've been overwhelmed with toxins from the air we breathe, water we drink, food we eat. They're spraying the crops. I mean, things have never been more toxic in this world, right? So it's really all about three simple words: hydrate, clean, and feed. So with every single person, what we do is we have a look at their live blood analysis, report from doing the live blood morphology. You can see it's all about the blood, right? You can see everything you need to know about the blood. Once you see the blood, you know the condition of their health. You can see if what kind of toxins they're dealing with, metals. You can see if they have parasites. You can see if they're not digesting their protein. You can see if they have too much, toxicity in their blood. You can also see if they're deficient in minerals, vitamins. It's very revealing. It's a well-known science among the natural practitioners. It's been a known fact since the 20s that disease can only exist in an acidic environment, and that in an alkaline environment you don't get sick. And I don't
Mm,
just know this because it's a scientific fact. It's real science, unlike a lot of the fake science that's been paid for by certain companies, right?
mhm.
And the proof, all I need is I haven't been sick for 28 years since I was taught this real science and been living this way. I'll be hitting 57, 28 years, not having a sniffle, a cough, a cold. So I have obviously great faith in this way of living, right? So
Mhm.
that was step one. It was a 24-hour water fast. And I also put him on a really powerful supplement to deal with this particular virus, whatever it was he had. And I have a natural product that can kill H5N1. It can kill numerous things that are plaguing humanity that even antibiotics won't even deal with. So I put him on that right away. 48 hours, the coughing stopped immediately. It was just like that. Then I put him on a started with a colon cleanse, because that's where the majority of waste is accumulating in our bodies. Once it
Mhm.
gets to the colon, because all health is gut health, right? Your gut,
That's where disease tends to start, right? Is in the colon. Is that
all
correct?
disease starts in the gut, including mental, emotional diseases. Gut health is where it all begins. This is where your disease begins. This is where your health begins. So we always get people on a proper hydration protocol, get their cells nice and hydrated, get their body moving, because without the water, there's no movement, right? If you're dry, you die.
Mhm.